The most common of the economies built around free is the three-party system. Here, a third party pays to participate in a market created by a free exchange between the first two parties. Sounds complicated? You encounter it every day. It's the basis of virtually all media. In the traditional media model, a publisher provides a product free or nearly free to consumers, and advertisers pay to ride along. Again, radio is free to air, and so is much of television. Likewise, newspaper and magazine publishers don't charge readers anything close to the actual cost of creating, printing, and distributing their products. They're not selling papers and magazines to readers. They're selling readers to advertisers. It's a three-way market. In a sense, the web represents the extension of the media business model to industries of all sorts. This is not simply the notion that advertising will pay for everything. Media companies make money around free content in dozens of ways, from selling information about consumers to brand licensing, value-added subscriptions, and direct e-commerce. Now an entire ecosystem of web companies is growing up around the same set of models. Economists call such models two-sided markets because there are two distinct user groups who synergistically support each other. Advertisers pay for media to reach consumers, who in turn support advertisers. Consumers ultimately pay, but only indirectly through the higher prices on products due to their marketing costs. This also applies to non-media markets, such as credit cards. Free cards to consumers means more spending at merchants and more fees for issuing banks. Operating system tools given free to application software developers to attract more consumers to the platform, and so on. In each case, the costs are distributed and or hidden enough to make the primary goods feel free to consumers. Free 3. Freemium. What's free? Anything that's matched with a premium paid version. Free to whom? Basic users. This term, coined by venture capitalist Fred Wilson, is one of the most common web business models. Freemium can take different forms, varying tiers of content from free to expensive, or a premium pro version of some site or software with more features than the free version. Think Flickr and the $25 a year Flickr Pro. Again, this sounds familiar. Isn't it just the free sample model found everywhere from perfume counters to street corners? Yes, but with a pretty significant twist. The traditional free sample is the promotional candy bar handout or the diapers mailed to a new mother. Since these samples have real costs, the manufacturer gives away only a tiny quantity, hoping to hook consumers and stimulate demand for many more. But for digital products, this ratio of free to paid is reversed. A typical online site follows the 5% rule. 5% of users support all the rest. In the freemium model, that means for every user who pays for the premium version of the site, 19 others get the basic free version. The reason this works is that the cost of serving the 19 is close enough to zero to call it nothing. Free 4. Non-monetary markets. What's free? Anything people choose to give away with no expectation of payment. Free to whom? Everyone. This can take several forms. 1. The gift economy. From the 12 million articles on Wikipedia to the millions of free secondhand goods offered on FreeCycle, we are discovering that money isn't the only motivator. Altruism has always existed, but the web gives it a platform where the actions of individuals can have global impact. In a sense, zero-cost distribution has turned sharing into an industry. From the point of view of the monetary economy, it all looks free. Indeed, it looks like unfair competition. But that says more about our short-sighted ways of measuring value than it does about the worth of what's created. The incentives to share can range from reputation and attention to less measurable factors such as expression, fun, good karma, satisfaction, and simply self-interest, giving things away via FreeCycle or Craigslist to save yourself the trouble of taking them to the dump. Sometimes the giving is unintentional or passive. You give information to Google when you have a public website, whether you intend to or not, and you give aluminum cans to the guy who collects them from the recycling bin, even if that's not what you meant to do. 2. Labor exchange. You can get access to free porn if you solve a few CAPTCHAs, those scrambled text boxes used to block spam bots. Ironically, what you're actually doing is using your human pattern-matching skills to decipher text that originated on some other site, one of interest to spammers, that uses such CAPTCHAs to keep them out. Once you solve it, the spammer can get access to those other sites, which are worth more to them than the bandwidth you'll consume viewing titillating images. As far as they're concerned, it's a black box. They put scrambled CAPTCHAs in and they get deciphered text out. But inside the box, it's the unwitting free labor of thousands of people. Likewise for rating stories on Digg, voting on Yahoo Answers, or using Google's 411 service. Every time you search on Google, you're helping the company improve its ad targeting algorithms. In each case, the act of using the service creates something of value, either improving the service itself or creating information that can be useful somewhere else. Whether you know it or not, you're paying with your labor for something free. 3. Piracy. This describes nothing so well as online music. Between digital reproduction and peer-to-peer distribution, the real cost of distributing music has truly hit bottom. This is a case where the product has become free because of sheer economic gravity, with or without a business model. That force is so powerful that laws, copy protection, guilt trips, and every other barrier to piracy the labels could think of failed, and continue to do so. Some artists give away their music online as a way of marketing concerts, merchandise, licensing, and other paid fare. But others have simply accepted that, for them, music is not a money-making business.